Admiral Hyun-woo stood in the great chamber of the Galactic Council. The massive dome stretched high above him, filled with floating seats for 12 different alien species. Each species looked down at him with eyes that showed no respect. Some looked bored, others looked angry, none looked worried. The chamber buzzed with the sound of translation devices. Aliens spoke in clicks, roars, and musical tones. All of it turned into words Hyun-woo could understand. But understanding their words did not make him like what they said. Human, General Crix spoke from his floating throne. The Vorthak general was 8 feet tall with gray skin like stone. His forearms ended in sharp claws. Your people will leave all colonies beyond your home system. You have 72 hours. Ambassador. So-jin sat beside Hyun-woo. She was a small woman with kind eyes, but those eyes now burned with quiet anger. She had spent months trying to talk peace with these aliens. They had laughed at every offer she made. General Crix, So-jin said in her calm voice, humanity has done nothing wrong. Our colonies grow food and build homes. We have never attacked anyone. The Selenid ambassador made a sound like glass breaking. It was their way of laughing. Your ships are weak, the crystal being said. We have seen your fleet, 847 ships. Our combined fleets have over 100,000 vessels. More laughter filled the chamber. The Gornathi delegate, who looked like a giant spider, clicked his approval. Humans think they can stand against the galaxy. Foolish creatures. Hyun-woo felt his jaw tighten. These aliens had no idea what they were asking for. He looked around the chamber at the floating seats. Each species had fought wars to get their place here. Each one believed strength came from the size of their armies. You mistake kindness for weakness, Hyun-woo said. His voice was quiet, but it carried through the chamber. This is a dangerous mistake. General Crix leaned forward. His yellow eyes glowed in the chamber's light. Is that a threat, human? It is a warning. The chamber erupted in alien sounds. Some species hissed, others roared. The spider-like Gornathi clicked so fast, their translator could not keep up. They all thought the human admiral was making empty threats. Captain Jin-ho watched from the shadows near the chamber's edge. He wore no uniform that marked him as military. To the aliens, he looked like another human diplomat, but his eyes never stopped moving. He recorded everything with hidden devices, every alien face, every threat, every laugh. So-jin tried again. Please reconsider. War helps no one. We can share the galaxy in peace. Peace? The hegemony representative spoke through a cloud of purple gas. You offer nothing. Your technology is primitive. Your ships are slow. Your weapons are weak. Have scanned your vessels, added the collective's mechanical voice. Simple metal hulls. Basic energy weapons. You are centuries behind our development. Hyun-woo almost smiled. Let them think that. Let them believe humans were weak and foolish. It would make what came next easier. The council took their vote. 12 species, 12 votes against humanity. Not one voice spoke for peace. Not one delegate showed mercy. The decision is made, General Crix announced. 72 hours. Remove your people from all outer colonies or face the consequences. So-jin gathered her papers with steady hands. What consequences? Your ships will burn, the Vorthak general said. Your colonies will fall. Your people will learn that the galaxy belongs to the strong. The other aliens made sounds of agreement. They had decided. Humanity would bow, or humanity would break. Hyun-woo stood slowly. He straightened his simple blue uniform. The aliens watched him with satisfaction. They expected him to beg. They expected fear. Instead, he looked directly at General Crix. You have made your choice. Now you will live with it. Empty words from a weak species, Crix replied. We shall see. As the humans left the chamber, Captain Jin-ho fell into step, beside them. All recorded, Admiral, he whispered. Good. Send everything to Admiral Dae-hyun. Behind them, the aliens were already planning their victory. They talked about dividing human colonies among themselves. They discussed which species would claim which worlds. They argued about whether to keep humans as servants or simply drive them back to their single planet. None of them noticed the small device Jinho left behind. It would keep recording long after the humans were gone. The three humans walked through the station's corridors in silence. Other species moved past them without concern. A few aliens pointed and laughed. Most ignored them completely. After all, what threat could humans pose? When they reached their ship, Sojin finally spoke. They will not listen to reason. They never intended to, Hyunwoo replied. This was always going to end one way. Jinho sealed the ship's door behind them. Admiral, they have no idea what they are facing. No, Hyunwoo agreed, as their ship pulled away from the station. They see only what we have chosen to show them. In the chamber they had left behind, the aliens continued their celebration. They made jokes about human weakness. They planned victory parades. They divided up the spoils of a war they had not yet fought. General Crick stood at the great window, looking out at space. His yellow eyes reflected the stars. 72 hours, he said to his aide. Then we show the galaxy what happens to species who refuse to obey. His aide, a smaller Vorthak with nervous eyes, shifted uncomfortably. General, what if the humans were not bluffing? Crix turned to stare at his subordinate. Look at their fleet numbers. Look at their technology. They are barely more advanced than primitives. What could they possibly do against us? The aide said nothing more. But as he looked out at the stars, he wondered if confidence and truth were the same thing. The humans had seemed too calm, too ready for this moment. In the depths of space, the human ship jumped to hyperspace. Inside, 3 humans carried news that would change everything. The galaxy had made its choice. Now, humanity would make theirs. The 72-hour countdown had begun. Deep beneath the city of Seoul, Fleet Admiral Dae Hyun stood before a massive holographic display. The underground chamber stretched for hundreds of meters in every direction. Screens covered the walls, showing star maps and ship positions. Officers moved between workstations with quiet efficiency. The room buzzed with activity as news from the Galactic Council reached Earth. Admiral Hyunwoo's message played on the main screen. His voice was steady as he reported the aliens' ultimatum. 72 hours, Hyunwoo said. They believe we will surrender without a fight. General Yuna stepped forward. She was a tall woman with silver hair and sharp eyes. Fleet strength report? All ships are ready, Admiral Taemin replied. The peacekeeping. Fleet maintains position as ordered. They still think we only have 800 ships. Intelligence Director Hyejin looked up from her station. Alien intelligence continues to underestimate us. They scan only surface vessels. They see what we want them to see. Dae-hyun nodded. For decades, humanity had played a careful game. They showed the galaxy peaceful merchants and simple colonists. They hid their true nature behind friendly smiles and trade agreements. The aliens thought they knew humanity. They were wrong. What about the colonies? Yuna asked. Evacuation orders are going out now, Taemin said. Our people will be safe. On the agricultural world of New Busan, Minho received the message on his communicator. He read it twice before calling his daughter. Yunjung, he called. Come. Here, sweetheart. His 12-year-old daughter ran in from the garden. Her hands were dirty from planting seeds. What is it, Papa? We need to pack. We are leaving New Busan. Yunjung's face fell. Why? This is our home. Minho knelt down to her level. Sometimes, honey, bad people try to take things that do not belong to them. When that happens, good people have to make hard choices. Are we running away? No, Minho said gently. We are getting out of the way so good people can do what needs to be done. Back on Earth, the war room filled with more officers. Captain Bo-ram entered wearing the black uniform of the stealth service. She saluted Dae-hyun. Silent Thunder reports all scout ships in position. We have eyes on every alien military base. Good, Dae-hyun said. Dr. Sungmin, show them. Dr. Sungmin stepped forward. He was an old man with kind eyes that hid a brilliant mind. Behind him, a new holographic display activated. Instead of showing 800 ships, it showed thousands. Project Aegis, Sungmin announced. Our real fleet. The room fell silent. Even officers who knew parts of the plan had never seen the full picture. Ships hid in asteroid fields throughout human space. Others waited in dimensional pockets that sensors could not detect. Space stations disguised as mining platforms revealed their true purpose. 52,000 combat vessels, Sungmin continued. 15,000 support ships, defense platforms around every major world, weapon systems the aliens have never seen. Commander Wu Jin, captain of the battleship Iron Mountain, whistled softly. I knew we were ready. I did not know we were this ready. The Titan-class ships? Yuna asked. All 12 are operational, Taimin replied. Each one larger than anything in the alien fleets. Daehyun looked around the room. For 70 years we have prepared. We hoped this day would never come, but we were ready for it. The display changed to show alien fleet positions. Red dots marked enemy ships throughout the galaxy. There were thousands of them, but they were spread thin. The aliens had never expected to fight a real war. They think numbers equal strength, Boram said. They are wrong. Heejin brought up intelligence reports. Alien communication intercepts show complete confidence. General Crix is already planning victory celebrations. Let him celebrate, Daehyun said. When do our people finish evacuating? 48 hours, Taemin reported. All civilians will be clear. Then we wait. On New Busan, Minho finished packing their few belongings. Yoonjung held her favorite plant, a small flower she had grown from seed. Can I bring this? She asked. Of course, Minho said. We will plant it in our new home. Will we ever come back here? Minho looked out the window at the green fields his family had worked for 3 generations. Yes, sweetheart, we will come back, and when we do, no one will ever make us leave again. The evacuation ships arrived as the sun set. Families loaded, their possessions and their hopes. Children asked questions their parents could not fully answer, but there was no panic. Humanity had drilled for this day. As their ship lifted off, Yoonjung pressed her face to the window. The fields look so small from up here. They are still there, Minho said, and they will be there when we return. In the depths of space, Captain Jinho's ship continued its journey to Earth. Behind them, the Galactic Council prepared for what they thought would be an easy war. Alien fleets began moving toward human colonies. Their commanders spoke of quick victories and human surrender. They had no idea that human sensors tracked every movement they made. They did not know that their communications were being recorded. They could not imagine that their entire battle plan was already known. On Earth, the countdown continued. 60 hours remained. In asteroid fields and hidden bases, human ships powered up their weapons. Crews ran final checks on systems the aliens had never seen. Pilots reviewed attack patterns against enemies who thought they were helpless. Dr. Sungmin stood before his life's work. The secret shipyards that had built humanity's true fleet. The weapon systems that could crack planets. The defense networks that turned space itself into a weapon. They asked for this, he said quietly. Daehyun joined him. Any regrets? About building this? No. About needing to use it? Yes. Humanity gave them every chance for peace. I know, Sungmin said. That does not make what comes next easier. Above them, the stars shone down on a galaxy that was about to learn a terrible lesson. Strength did not come from the number of ships you could build. It came from the wisdom to know when to fight and the skill to win when fighting became necessary. The aliens had mistaken human kindness for weakness. They had seen patience as cowardice. They had looked at humanity's small visible fleet and thought they understood everything. Soon, they would learn how wrong they were. The Vorthak fleet emerged from hyperspace like a gray cloud of death. 5,000 warships stretched across space near the human colony of New Jeju. Each ship was 3 times larger than the human vessels they had seen before. General Crix stood on the bridge of his flagship, the world breaker. Through the great window he could see the human colony world spinning peacefully below. Small ships moved between orbital stations like insects around a flower. Pathetic, Crick said to his officers. They have not even tried to run. The colony's defense force consisted of 20 human ships. They hung in space between the Vorthak fleet and the planet. To Crix, they looked like toys facing a tsunami. Open communications, Crix ordered. The image of a human captain appeared on his screen. The man wore a simple uniform and looked surprisingly calm. His nameplate read, Captain Wu Jin. I am General Crix of the Vorthak Empire, the alien commander announced. You will surrender immediately or be destroyed. Captain Wu Jin smiled. It was not the expression of a frightened man. General, I am required to give you one final warning. Leave this system now. You do not want to start this fight. Crix's forearms gestured dismissively. You have 20 ships. I have 5,000. What can you possibly do? You are about to find out. The transmission ended. Crix laughed, a sound like grinding stone. His officers joined in. The bridge filled with alien amusement at human foolishness. All ships attack formation, Crix commanded. Let us show the galaxy what happens to those who defy us. The Vorthak fleet spread out like a hunting pack. Their massive ships powered up weapons that could crack moons. Energy readings spiked across the alien formation as they prepared to turn the human defenders into debris. Then space began to change. It started as a shimmer, like heat waves rising from hot ground. The Vorthak sensors could not explain what they were seeing. The shimmer grew stronger and suddenly ships began appearing, not human ships like the ones they had seen before. These were monsters. The first to appear was the Iron Mountain Captain, Wu Jin's true command. It was 4 times larger than the biggest Vorthak vessel. Its hull gleamed with armor that absorbed energy attacks. Weapon ports opened along its sides like the eyes of some vast beast. Impossible, Crix whispered. More ships materialized, sleek destroyers that moved like dancers, heavy cruisers bristling with weapons the Vorthak had never seen, and behind them all, something so large it had its own gravity field. Lieutenant. Na-Young stood on the bridge of the Stormbreaker as it decloaked. Around her, displays showed hundreds of human vessels appearing throughout the system. Her captain, a calm woman named Su-Min, gave the order they had all been waiting for. All ships weapons free. Show them what human engineering can do. The battle began with a single shot from the Iron Mountain. A beam of pure energy lanced across space and struck a Vorthak cruiser. The alien ship did not just take damage. It simply vanished, turned to vapor in an instant. The Vorthak fleet tried to respond, but they were fighting an enemy they did not understand. The human ships moved with perfect coordination. When one vessel dodged left, its wingman was already covering its position. When a group advanced, others provided exactly the right support. How are they doing this? Crix's sensor officer demanded. Their coordination is impossible. No fleet can move as one mind. Na-Young watched alien ships explode on her screens. The human plasma cannons tore through enemy shields like paper. Vorthak armor that had never been penetrated cracked and melted under human fire. But it was not just the weapons. The human ships fought with a unity the aliens had never seen. Each captain knew exactly where every other ship would be. Each crew trusted their comrades completely. Formation Delta 7, Captain Su-Min ordered. The human fleet flowed into a new pattern like a school of fish changing direction. The Vorthak tried to follow, but their ships collided with each other in confusion. General Crix watched his fleet die around him. Ships that had conquered worlds burned like candles in the dark. His greatest weapons could not even scratch the human vessels. Sir, his communications officer turned with terror in his yellow eyes. We are receiving surrender offers from our own ships. What? Captain Throck of the Deathhammer is asking for terms. So is Commander Vizak of the Starkiller. They say continuing the fight is suicide. Crix looked at his tactical display. In 30 minutes he had lost over half his fleet. The humans had lost nothing. Not one ship. Not even damaged armor. A new contact appeared on his sensors. This one was so large his computers thought it was a space station. But it moved like a ship, gliding through the battle with impossible grace. "What is that thing?" he asked. His science officer's voice shook. "It appears to be a human vessel, General. But the size, it is larger than our battle stations." The massive ship opened fire. A single shot destroyed 3 Vorthak cruisers in a line. The beam passed through them like they were not even there. "All ships retreat," Crix finally ordered. "Full retreat." But retreat was no longer possible. The human ships had surrounded the entire Vorthak fleet. They moved like wolves around a herd, cutting off every escape route. Captain Wu Jin's voice came across all frequencies. "Vorthak vessels, you have one chance to surrender. Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded. Any ship that tries to fight will be destroyed." Some Vorthak captains chose to fight. Their ships became brief stars in the darkness. Others, seeing the hopelessness of their situation, shut down their weapons and waited. General Crix stood alone on his bridge. Most of his crew was dead. His ship was crippled, held together by emergency power and fear. "Why?" he asked when Captain Wu Jin appeared on his screen again. "How is this possible? Your ships, your weapons, your coordination. You are supposed to be primitives." Wu Jin looked at him with something like pity. "We never said we were primitives. General, you assumed that because we chose peace we were weak. Because we showed you only what we wanted you to see, you thought you knew us. The Galactic Council will hear of this. They will send everything they have." "Let them come," Wu Jin replied. "But first, they should ask themselves a question. If this was what we could do when you surprised us, what do you think we can do when we are ready?" The battle for New Jeju was over in 37 minutes. Of 5,000 Vorthak ships, fewer than 200 survived to surrender. The rest were either destroyed or floating as debris between the stars. On the colony world below, families watched the lights in the sky fade away. They had been afraid when the alien fleet arrived. Now they felt something different. They felt protected. Lieutenant Na Young looked at her captain as they secured the last enemy vessel. "What now?" Captain Sumian smiled grimly. "Now we wait for the galaxy's response. And we get ready for the real fight." In the depths of space, automated message drones raced toward the Galactic Council with news of the disaster. The humans had not just won. They had made victory look easy. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity had been holding back all along. The emergency session of the Galactic Council erupted into chaos. Representatives screamed at each other in a dozen different languages. The great chamber, which had been filled with confident laughter just days before, now buzzed with panic and rage. 5,000 ships. The Selenid ambassador's crystal body flashed angry red. Gone in minutes. The Gornathi delegate clicked his mandibles rapidly. "Impossible. The humans have only 800 vessels." "Not anymore," said the hegemony representative through his purple gas cloud. "Intelligence reports suggest we severely underestimated their capabilities." The holographic display in the center of the chamber showed the aftermath of the Battle of New Jeju. Debris fields where proud Vorthak warships once flew. Human vessels moving with impossible coordination. And in the center of it all, ships larger than anything in the known galaxy. General Crix appeared via emergency transmission from his medical ship. Half his face was covered in bandages and his voice was weak. "Council members, we must reconsider our approach. The humans, they were never what we thought." "You lost because you are weak," snarled the Thanix war leader. "My people will succeed where the Vorthak failed." "You do not understand," Crix insisted. "Their ships, their weapons, their tactics. We were fighting children with sticks, and they brought the weapons of gods." The council voted anyway. 11 species would combine their fleets for a massive assault on Earth itself. Over 80,000 ships from across the galaxy would gather for the largest military operation in history. On Earth, Fleet Admiral Dae Hyun received the intelligence reports with calm satisfaction. In the underground command center, officers worked at their stations with quiet efficiency. The massive displays showed alien fleets gathering at staging areas throughout the galaxy. "They are committing everything," Intelligence Director Hyejin reported. "Every major warship from 11 species." General Yun-Ah studied the tactical displays. "Foolish. They are putting all their military strength in one place." "Perfect for us," Admiral Taemin agreed. "One battle ends it all." Dae-hyun nodded. "Initiate Operation Starfall. It is time to show the galaxy who we really are." Throughout the Sol system, humanity's true defenses came online. The moon split open like an egg, revealing massive railgun batteries that had been hidden for decades. Jupiter's great red spot was not a storm at all, but the exhaust from the largest shipyard ever built. Saturn's rings were packed with automated defense platforms. Captain Su Young stood on the bridge of her new command, the super dreadnought Sol's Fury. The ship was so massive it had its own weather systems. Crew members needed vehicles to travel from one section to another. "All systems operational," her first officer reported. "The ship is ready." "Good," Su Young replied. "Today we remind the galaxy why humans chose isolation." Beyond Neptune's orbit, Admiral Jae-sung commanded the stealth carrier group that had been hiding in dark space. His ships had been waiting for 30 years, invisible to all sensors. Now their time had come. "Launch all fighters," he ordered. "It is time to reveal what human engineering can really do." The alien armada arrived at the edge of the Sol system in perfect formation. 83,000 ships from 11 different species. Each commander was confident that sheer numbers would overwhelm the humans. They expected to find a desperate last stand around Earth. A few hundred ships trying to protect their home world. What they found instead changed everything. "Sensors are going mad," reported the Selenid fleet commander. "I am reading. This cannot be right." "What is it?" demanded the overall fleet commander, a Vorthak admiral named Torx. 30,000 ships, sir. Human ships. They are everywhere." Space around Earth buzzed with human vessels like a kicked anthill. Destroyers and cruisers moved in perfect formations. Battleships the size of cities drifted between orbital defense platforms. And at the heart of it all, the Titan-class dreadnoughts that dwarfed even the largest alien vessels. Commander Yan-Su led her destroyer squadron, the Dancing Blades, through a complex maneuver that brought them alongside a massive human battle line. Her ships moved like parts of a single organism, each one knowing exactly where the others would be. "This is how we fight," she told her crew. "Not as individuals seeking glory, but as one people with one purpose." The alien fleet tried to advance in traditional formation. Each species fought in its own style, with its own tactics. The Vorthak preferred direct assault. The Selenids relied on superior technology. The Gornathi used swarm tactics. Against the humans, none of it mattered. Admiral Dae-hyun watched from his command ship as the enemy fleet spread out to attack. "They still do not understand," he said to his staff. "They think this is about numbers. Beginning." "Demonstration," reported Captain Su Young from the Sol's Fury. The super dreadnought fired a single shot. The energy beam traveled across 1,000,000 kilometers of space and struck the center of the alien formation. 12 enemy ships simply ceased to exist, vaporized by weapons technology the galaxy had never seen. The alien fleet tried to respond, but they were fighting an enemy that operated on completely different principles. Every human ship was connected to every other human ship. They shared sensors, tactics, and even thoughts through quantum communication networks. When the Gornathi tried their swarm tactics, the human fleet shifted into a formation that surrounded the aliens completely. When the Thanics attempted a pincer movement, they found human ships already waiting in position. "How is this possible?" Admiral Torx demanded from his flagship. "No fleet can coordinate like this." His answer came from an unexpected source. Dr. Haiwan, humanity's lead xenoarchaeologist, appeared on the alien communication channels. She was an elderly woman with silver hair and eyes that held ancient wisdom. "You want to know how?" she asked. "Then let me tell you what you never bothered to learn about humanity." The display changed to show archaeological evidence from across the galaxy. Ancient ruins on dead worlds. Technology buried deep in forgotten places. Star maps that showed the true age of human civilization. We are not a young species, Dr. Haiwan continued. We are not primitives who just learned to fly between the stars. We are the descendants of the ancients, the builders of the first galactic civilization. The revelation hit the alien fleet like a physical blow. The ancients were legend. Every species knew stories of the mysterious race that had shaped the galaxy millions of years ago. We chose isolation, Haiwan explained as human ships moved through the alien fleet like angels of death. We grew tired of war and conquest. We decided to step back and let younger species find their own way. Admiral Torx watched his grand fleet being torn apart by enemies who fought with the precision of gods. Why reveal yourselves now? Because you left us no choice, Admiral Daehyun said, taking over the transmission. We hoped you would prove worthy of the galaxy we once ruled. Instead, you have shown us that peace cannot exist while bullies control the stars. The battle lasted 6 hours. When it ended, the combined alien fleet was destroyed. Some ships surrendered. Others fled in terror. A few tried to fight to the end and became brief lights in the darkness. Commander Yan-Su looked at her tactical display as the last enemy vessel powered down its weapons. Is it over? This part is, her captain replied. But I think the real work is just beginning. Earth remained untouched. Humanity's true fleet had revealed itself, and the galaxy would never be the same again. 6 hours after the great battle ended, human fleets appeared simultaneously at every major alien military installation across the galaxy. They did not come as conquerors, but their message was clear. The old order was finished. Captain Min Seo stood on the bridge of her assault ship as it approached the Galactic Council headquarters. The massive space station had been the symbol of alien power for centuries. Now it hung helpless in space, its shields down and weapons offline. Open a channel to the station, Min Seo ordered. The frightened face of a Selenide administrator appeared on her screen. The crystal being's usual bright colors had faded to pale blue. Please, the alien begged. We surrender. Do not destroy the station. We are not here to destroy anything, Min Seo replied calmly. We are here to talk. Across the galaxy, similar scenes played out at alien military bases and government centers. Admiral Tae Young led the liberation of prison worlds where weaker species had been enslaved. Her ships moved through alien space like a gentle storm, freeing the oppressed and protecting the innocent. On the former prison world of Kepler 442b, thousands of Zephyrian refugees emerged from underground hiding places. They were a peaceful species who had been enslaved by the Gornati for decades. Now they looked up at human ships in the sky with wonder and hope. Are we truly free? Asked Elder Wisp, an old Zephyrian whose translucent wings had been clipped by his captors. You are free, Admiral Tae Young assured him through her translator. And you will stay free. Back at the council headquarters, Ambassador So-Jin walked through halls that had once echoed with alien laughter at human weakness. Now they were filled with silence and fear. The remaining council members waited in the great chamber, no longer sitting in their floating thrones but standing on the floor, like supplicants. So-Jin entered the chamber flanked by Admiral Hyunwoo and Captain Jin-ho. Behind them came Dr. Haiwan, carrying a datapad filled with evidence of the council's crimes. Members of the former Galactic Council, So-Jin began, her voice carrying clearly through the vast space. You are here to answer for your actions. The hegemony representative tried to speak through his gas cloud. We were only maintaining order. The galaxy needed strong leadership. You were bullies, Dr. Haiwan said simply. We have records of your crimes, slavery, genocide, the destruction of entire species who refused to bow to your will. She activated her datapad, and the chamber filled with evidence. Images of destroyed worlds, records of enslaved peoples, communications showing the Council's true nature. The Altarians, Haiwan continued, extinct because they would not give up their water rights. The Procyon Collective, wiped out because their technology was deemed too dangerous. 17. Species gone forever because you feared competition. General Crick, still bandaged from his wounds, spoke from his medical chair. "What do you want from us?" Admiral Hyun-woo stepped forward. "Justice. Peace. A galaxy where strength protects the weak instead of preying on them." "And if we refuse?" asked the Gornathi delegate, his spider-like form trembling. "Then you will join the species you destroyed," Sojin said quietly. "But we would prefer another path." She gestured, and the chamber's displays showed a new star map. Instead of showing territories controlled by different species, it showed trade routes, communication networks, and mutual defense agreements. "This is our proposal," Sojin continued. "A new galactic government based on cooperation instead of domination. Every species gets a voice. Every world gets protection. Every being gets the right to live free." The alien representatives looked at each other nervously. They had expected death or slavery. Instead, the humans offered something they had never known: true equality. "Why?" the Selenid ambassador asked. "You have the power to rule us all. Why offer us partnership?" Dr. Hye-won smiled sadly. "Because we tried ruling the galaxy once before. Millions of years ago, when we were young and foolish, we conquered everything we could see. Do you know what we learned?" The aliens waited silently. "Learned that ruling through fear creates only more fear. That conquest breeds rebellion. That true peace comes not from the strongest ruling the weakest, but from everyone working together." Admiral Hyun-woo pulled up images of humanity's ancient empire, vast fleets that had once controlled 1,000 worlds, technologies that could reshape planets or destroy stars. "We chose to give it up," he said. "We went into isolation not because we were weak, but because we were tired of war. We hoped that younger species would learn from our mistakes. Instead, you repeated them," Sojin added. "But it is not too late to choose a better path." The negotiations took 3 days. Some species readily agreed to the new order. Others had to be convinced. A few, like the most violent factions of the Vorthak Empire, had to be removed from power entirely. When it was over, the Galactic Council was dissolved. In its place rose the United Worlds Alliance, with humanity taking a reluctant leadership role. On New Busan, Min-ho and his daughter Yoon-jung returned to their farm. The fields were exactly as they had left them, protected by automated systems while the family was away. "The flowers are still growing," Yoon-jung said with delight as she replanted her favorite bloom. "Yes," Min-ho replied, looking up at the stars, where human patrol ships now kept watch. "And they will keep growing for a long, long time." General Crix, now under medical supervision on a rehabilitation world, asked to speak with Admiral Hyun-woo one last time. "I need to understand," the former Vorthak commander said. "You could have destroyed us all. Why show mercy?" Hyun-woo looked out the window at alien children playing in gardens that had once been military barracks. "Because strength without mercy is just cruelty, and cruelty never lasts." "What happens to those of us who cannot change?" Crix asked. "You learn. Or you are removed from positions where you can cause harm. But every being deserves a chance to become better than they were." The galaxy slowly adapted to its new reality. Trade replaced conquest. Cooperation replaced competition. The massive fleets that had once terrorized weaker species were converted into exploration vessels and cargo haulers. On Earth, Fleet Admiral Dae-hyun stood in his command center, watching reports from across human space. The great displays now showed not military positions but scientific expeditions, cultural exchanges, and peaceful development projects. "Any regrets?" asked Dr. Sung-min, joining him at the observation window. "About the battle?" "No. We gave them every chance for peace." "About taking leadership?" Dae-hyun was quiet for a long moment. "We did not want this responsibility, but someone had to ensure the strong protect the weak instead of preying on them. And if other species challenge us in the future, then we will remind them why we chose isolation the first time," Dae-hyun replied, "and why it was a mistake to force us out of it." Years later, Children across the galaxy would learn about the day humanity revealed its true nature. They would study the Battle of New Jeju and the great liberation that followed. They would learn that sometimes the greatest strength is knowing when not to use it. But they would also learn that when evil threatens the innocent, someone must stand up and fight. In classrooms on 1,000 worlds, young beings of dozens of species would hear the story of how the galaxy misjudged humanity, how they mistook kindness for weakness, patience for cowardice, and mercy for inability, and how, when pushed too far, humanity had shown them the difference between choosing peace and being unable to fight. The galaxy had learned its lesson. Strength without wisdom was meaningless. Power without compassion was evil. And sometimes the most peaceful people were the ones you least wanted to anger. Humanity had tried to warn them. The aliens had refused to listen. Now they would never forget.